A case that has gripped Florida for over 2 decades. The story of Michael Tanzi and the murder of Janet Acosta remains both harrowing and complex. Today, we revisit the details of the 2000 crime, the subsequent trial, and the latest developments as Tanzi's fate is sealed for execution on April 8, 2025. On April 25, 2000, Janet Acosta, a 49-year-old supervisor at the Miami Herald, took a break from her busy day to read a book inside her maroon van at the Japanese Gardens in Miami. At that time, Tanzi was in Miami and had no way to get back to Key West, where he had been living for several months. He saw Acosta in her vehicle with the window down and walked over to ask for a cigarette and the time. While Acosta was distracted, Tanzi hit her in the face and got into the van. He then threatened her with a razor blade and drove away with her in the vehicle. He held her by the wrist until they reached Homestead. When Tanzi arrived in Homestead, he stopped at a gas station. There, he used rope from Acosta's van to tie her up and gagged her with a towel. He threatened Acosta, saying he would cut her throat if she made any noise. Tanzi took Acosta's $53 in cash. He bought cigarettes and a soda and tried to use her bank card, which he found while searching through her things. While in Homestead, Tanzi also physically assaulted and threatened to kill her with his razor if she injured him. Then Tanzi drove with Acosta bound and gagged in the back of the van until he reached Tavernier in the Florida Keys. He stopped around 5:15 p.m. to take money from Acosta's bank account. Tanzi threatened Acosta with a razor to get Acosta's personal identification number. After that, he went to a hardware store to buy duct tape and razor blades. Tanzi continued his journey and reached Sugarloaf Key around 6:30 p.m. He decided he needed to get rid of Acosta because she was a problem for him. He also knew he would be caught quickly if he let her go alive. Tanzi went to Blimp Road, a remote area in Cudjoe Key. He told Acosta that he was going to kill her. He then used a piece of rope to start strangling her. Tanzi strangled Acosta until she died. He then hid her body in a secluded wooded area, hoping no one would find it. After the murder, Tanzi drove to Key West. There, he shopped, ate, smoked marijuana, visited friends, and used Acosta's ATM card. He planned to take more of Acosta's money, sleep in a hotel, buy drugs, and change the van's appearance. However, on April 27, 2000, the police saw him returning to Acosta's van. The police had found the van and were watching it after Acosta's friends and co-workers reported her missing. When the police approached Tanzi, he had receipts for his ATM withdrawals and purchases in his pocket. Tanzi said he knew what this was about. He also said he wanted to discuss some bad things he had done after he waived his rights. While in a police car going to the Key West Police Department, Tanzi confessed that he had assaulted, kidnapped, robbed, assaulted and killed Janet Acosta. He repeated his confession in greater detail several times on audio and videotape. Tanzi also showed the police where he had disposed of Janet Acosta's body and where he had thrown away the duct tape and rope. Tanzi was charged with first-degree murder in the case of Janet Acosta. Though Tanzi initially entered a plea of not guilty, a plea deal was struck just prior to the trial. As a result, Tanzi ultimately pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including first-degree murder, carjacking, kidnapping, and armed robbery. During the penalty phase of the trial, Tanzi's defense called upon 2 mental health experts to provide insight into his long-standing mental health issues. One was a forensic social worker who specialized in actual behavior problems, while the other was a counselor from a homeless shelter. Both witnesses testified about Tanzi's extensive history of mental health challenges, detailing his experiences at various institutions and the diagnoses he received throughout his life. Dr. Vickery, a psychiatrist, provided testimony indicating that Tanzi is diagnosed with bipolar disorder, substance use disorder, paraphilic disorders, and antisocial personality disorder. Dr. Raphael, a psychologist, offered further insights, noting Tanzi's polysubstance dependence, post-traumatic stress disorder, and a constellation of paraphilic disorders including exhibitionism, actual sadism, and voyeurism. Fast forward to today, recent news reports confirm that Governor Ron DeSantis signed a death warrant for Michael Tanzi. Now, with all legal avenues exhausted, Tanzi is scheduled to be executed on April 8, 2025, at Florida State Prison.